Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with Moman against Dimaga, MTW against Virus. Both these players going to be heading over towards Terminus SE in our first Zerg versus Zerg in this series.
Yeah, man, it's going to be Zerg vs. Zerg on Terminus. I mean, this is a pretty macro-oriented map, but Zerg vs. Zerg is still such an aggressive, unforgiving matchup. So it's still very possible to just see both these players stay on 2 base. You know, on this map, it's just, I feel like you can take the third and secure it if you're really careful with defending that natural choke, but you really have to worry about the destructible rocks leading into it. So you can't just go for a very greedy style and defend purely with banelings.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people. There's a lot of defensive strategies that people have been going. There's actually defensive +1 attack that you can go on your missiles, and that will give you a lot of just a lot of defense, because what ends up doing is giving you the chance to just position all your roaches without that speed. So if there is some sort of fast glial reconstitution, then you will be able to receive it very well. On top of that, the +1 missile attacks do allow you to get that very, very fast 2-shot on the Zerglings, so roaches can clean that pretty easily, and you take your third off that. We saw that with Sheth versus Vibe. That same exact predicament happened, and Vibe was just able to overwhelm his opponent with just superior economy as soon as that third kicked in.
Yeah, of course, the third economy can matter so much. There's only 1 gas at it, though, so at least there's not you know, too much going on. If there was double gas there, of course, that third would be such a huge advantage in ZVZ to be able to get more and more infestors. But of course, with just a single gas, not quite as big of a deal. Of course, that mineral income, as you said, can still make a big difference, especially you know, with just your roach count, as well as I mean, still 1 gas. 1 gas might not be as good as 2 gas, but it still obviously makes a big difference. Now, extractor on was that 14? Yeah, it looks like we're gonna be seeing a 14 gas, 14 pool from Moman.
Dimaga,
and Moman loves his Zerglings, man. So
yes, he does. Dimaga going up to 15 drones, so we're actually going to see a 15 spawning pool going down. Very interesting. And no gas just yet. There it is. Gas just gets put up right there. So Dimaga will be doing a slightly later spawning pool and extractor. That will favor him, because, you know, he's been able to prioritize his economy just ever so slightly, and the rush distances will compensate for the amount of time it takes that spawning pool to get up and for him to get Zerglings.
Yeah, I mean, Moman did go for, actually, it wasn't the 14 gas 14 pool, it was 14 gas 13 pool, so he actually got that pool as early as possible, so he actually cut quite a bit of economy to get this up as quickly as possible. And as you said, that rush distance is just going to allow Dimaga to get up a defensive force in time, but still have more drones available in the early game. So I feel like he does have the advantage there. That pool actually not that far delayed, of course. His gas is going to be a little bit later. It'll be a little bit longer before he actually gets that metabolic boost started. As we can see, Moman already starting his now. And of course, Dimaga only at 70 gas, but as soon as he gets to 100, I'm sure he will go ahead and start that. And oh, Moman did not stop mining gas after getting that 100 gas, and that was actually spotted by Dimaga. He went back and checked with that drone, and he saw, yes, he was still mining with 3 drones, so that could let him know that he might be going for something like, you know, early baneling shenanigans or maybe roach play.
But look at his response. He's going to go immediately put down a hatchery, and he's still mining gas for himself. So we're going to probably see 50 gas hit, and he's going to throw down a baneling nest right away. One interesting thing to note is Dimaga scouted his opponent. Moman has not scouted Dimaga out, so he actually doesn't know where he is or what he's going. So it does lead to a little bit of problems for Moman actually coming up with the build. We can see here, drone will go all the way down to the 6 o'clock position, and the Zerglings will defend this 1 drone.
Yeah, that's looking from Moman trying to get in there. It does see the expansion at least, but probably not going to be able to get into the main. Be able to see that baneling nest that is on the way for Dimaga. Meanwhile, Moman has not actually added on anything else, so despite the fact that he kept mining gas, I don't know, maybe that was actually just a bit of a mistake, because he's not...
You know, it could be that he was trying to make it look like he was going in baneling nest, of course, and then delayed it, got the expansion. So it's just a little bit of mind games going on with Moman this beginning stage.
Yeah, now instead he's going to go for the Roach Warren, so that may indeed be what's going on here, tricking Dimaga perhaps into going into those banelings to be able to defend against a Moman's possibility of banelings. Then he goes for the Roaches, so he'll be absolutely fine against Dimaga's banelings, and, you know, take this expansion. He'll be able to drone up quite a bit to make a couple Roaches to defend.
Well, look at what's just happened. It looks like 5 banelings total have been constructed for Dimaga, and we know that these banelings are really quite useless. I mean, there's not an overcommitment of Zerglings in this point. Actually, We do see roaches coming out, but we're probably going to see a lot of drones. He has double queens already on both of his hatcheries. Same thing with Dimaga, but you know, I like what Moman has done in this early game stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Some really good mind games. Looks like Dimaga might just get into the main. Yeah, he runs by there past that, but he's going to see the roach because he's going to know exactly what's going on now. Realize that he might have been tricked a little bit here by Moman. He's going to, actually get a couple of these lings out. Just 2 here. Did lose the majority of those, but nice scouting information to know that Moman is actually going for those roaches. That is huge.
A very nice hit right there, and it looks like he cancels that spine crawler. Now Moman, is he going to do this timing right here? He is getting a couple of roaches right now. Let's look at the units tab and check how many roaches he has in total. 6 total roaches, so he could be potentially gearing up for pressure, but I would think that he's going to go for something like a mass drone from here.
Yeah, he already made 3 more drones. Now he's continuing to drone right now. Actually, it's Dimaga droning up right now. He's trying to get that roach horn of his own, and yeah, there's the droning from a Moman as well. So both players just trying to get saturated here with their natural expansions, of course. Dimaga has added on that evolution chamber so he can start getting those upgrades up and running. We'll have to see if he goes for that missile attack upgrade so he can have those roaches doing that extra damage, killing off those zerglings a little bit easier, as you were explaining. But he does actually have a spine crawler at the natural, so Dimaga's going to have a little bit easier time defending, whereas, of course, as you said, Moman did cancel a spine crawler, and, of course, spines are very effective versus roaches, so that could make it a little bit more difficult later in the game for Moman to play defensively.
And here we go. This is the +1. Nope. Yeah, I just got pump faked really badly. Apparently that one drone is like, yeah, I'm going to go make an expand. Nah, I'm not going to. Instead, he puts a huge amount of drones down. No, excuse me. He puts roaches down. I looked at the wrong one. I thought I saw 5 drones, but no, that's Moman. Income tab is showing 37 to 31 in favor of Dimaga, so he is slightly ahead in that favor.
Should even up a little bit as those drones all pop out. Yeah, it is evening up now. So, I mean, Dimaga has the income advantage for now. It will be evened up. I mean, that timing will just give him just a couple more minerals since he had that just earlier than Moman had his drones, but Moman is actually ahead by 1 on drones now with 4 more on the way, but 10 roaches on the way from Dimaga, so Moman's got to be careful.
I love this attack coming in from Moman. It's not actually a real attack. It looks like it is. A lot of roaches being pumped, but it's basically saying, hey, I just invested in a lot of roaches. Well, let me make sure my opponent is also making roaches, because I don't want it to be, okay, I have all these roaches, they're doing absolutely nothing. They're just droning completely. So this little form of attack, it will take out this destructible rocks, but more importantly, it forces Dimaga to make his roaches, and he's just going to be able to back up. Look at that. The Overlord Highway gives him the ability to just see everything that's coming. There isn't a mass zergling to catch all of these roaches, so he's absolutely fine. He's just going to run away, and he did the indirect damage he needs to do.
Absolutely. The problem here, though, is that Dimaga has taken his 3rd hatchery, whereas you know, Moman has not just not taken the 3rd base, but has not, doesn't have a macro hatch either. So he's going to be behind not only in the economy once that 3rd base gets up, but also on the larva, of course. And he's producing quite a few roaches now. Now going back to a couple drones in here, but he is trying to get that roach force up. Maybe just a little bit worried that just in case Dimaga made too many roaches in response to him, that he doesn't want to die to any type of counterattack, especially with the lack of any spine crawler. But I feel like the lack of any expansion from him is actually pretty darn scary right now. There we go, finally sending that drone out to go take that. We do see the lair about halfway done for Dimaga, so that tech advantage is going to be huge for him. The lair just now started for Moman, so he's going to have that speed up for those roaches that much earlier. He'll be able to get infestors that much earlier, and he'll be able to continue his upgrades as well.
Yeah, I mean, what really speaks is going to be the +2 attack that's going to be coming out from Dimaga. As soon as that lair just pops, it looks like it's just 5 seconds away from doing so. Dimaga will have the capacity to have a lot of timings because of that. He has that +2 attack. Not only can he be very defensive with it, but he can be aggressive. So he can take the 4th base and potentially defend against any sort of
aggression.
Aggression, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. He does have the 5th gas up as well. No actually infestation pit on the way just yet. He's trying to get droned up. He's trying to get those upgrades as glial reconstitution as well as that +2 missile attacks. But he's already up to, no wait, that's Moman already up to 500 gas right now actually. So after that lair finishes, maybe we'll see Moman rush out to infestors here. No, he actually has the double evo chamber as well himself. So he's going to get those double upgrades continuing. And his 3rd base is about 3/4 of the way done. But of course he is behind in that regard. Right now 65 drones to 63 with Dimaga in the slight lead. But really, he's getting his advantage just from having that 3rd base up so much earlier.
Look at that income. And the gas income as well. It's different, and it's really all in part to do with this one expansion that he got. And look at it, Dimaga is just extending his lead, getting that 4th base. That's so important to extend your macro lead and make sure that you're really mining off of as many gas as possible, because if he can get over to those infestors, which are pretty important, he's right now prioritizing Roach and upgrades, but if he can get over those infestors, that's going to be the game-winning thing that really solidifies his position.
You know, he's actually getting Hydras right now, and I think this might be a bad idea, basically just for one big reason, the fact that Dimaga's trying to move forward and take this 4th in the middle of the map, and he hasn't done any creep spread all game long. Hydras are a unit that's it's a little bit situational. If you don't have that creep spread, they're going to be really hard to use effectively, position well, and micro. But if you do have that creep spread, they can be absolutely phenomenal. So the fact that he doesn't have any creep spread is just going to make it a little bit more difficult to defend, you know, if we have any Zergling counterattacks or, you know, run-bys, or just trying to defend both the 4th and the natural at the same time for Dimaga.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that exactly, but we'll see. Maybe he's gearing up for this +2 timing. I'm not completely sure. It is 11 Hydras coming out right now, and with the +2 coming out, it will be really nicely timed. It looks like Moman is pushing out right now, and there is an advantage for his supply. Here we go, but +2 is just about to finish for Dimaga. Dimaga just now, where is it going to come out? Now it comes out, and that's going to be the big boost for Dimaga. He's going to roll over this army. It does look like now the Hydras join in here. That's going to be a lot of DPS. Dimaga looking really good in this fight.
Absolutely. Moman probably needs to fall back right now. He was ahead on the Roach count, and he's still ahead, but there's so many Hydras right there. So even though it's 23 Roaches to 33, remember that, of course, Dimaga had already finished his +2 ranged, and it's just about to complete here for Moman. So perhaps should have waited for that. Just has another 10 seconds now. If he'd waited for that, would have had a much better engagement there, as of course Dimaga waited for. But he saw all those Hydras, and I don't feel like he's responding well enough to that. He hasn't thrown on an Infestation Pit or a Hydra Den of his own, or you know, started mixing in Banelings. Doesn't have the Baneling Nest either. That could be pretty useful against those Hydras since they're light, but he does have this 4th base up and running. No double gas added just yet. Gonna throw it on 1 gas geyser for now, but I really feel like Moman is gonna have to get some additional tech here if he wants to beat this army from Dimaga.
Yeah, this is very tough. Now Tunneling Claw actually being researched for Moman, and does Moman actually want to attack in here again? I don't think this is the best way. There's a lot of Hydras here, and these Roaches are just being picked apart. It looks like another group of Roaches are coming in from the bottom hand side. Are they going to try to sandwich this? Yes, he will.
Burrow, man. He has that burrow, and a lot of these Roaches are so low on HP, and he keeps engaging when they're low HP. He should just burrow. There's no detection there for Dimaga. There we go. There's the burrow, so we can at least get that army out of there or heal it up. But he's engaging from all angles right now, and it's just not a good engagement. He has such a smaller army here, but he's just losing the entire thing. Right now it's 192 food to 124 in a mirror match, man. That is absolutely insane.
Now. And, you know, it's just the constant production of units coming out from Dimaga. Dimaga has the superior economy right now. We can see that now bearing down on the 4th base, only Roaches coming out. And when there's only Roaches going against any amount of Hydras with Roaches, it's a clear advantage for the person with Hydras. Now 2-2 is finished for both these players, so they will be even on upgrades. But look, the damage has been done. Dimaga is just pulling farther and farther ahead in this game.
Yeah, it's getting really difficult for a moment to be able to come back into this. Yet again, it just comes down to the fact that, I mean, he just went mass Roach, man, and didn't get any additional tech, and he had bad engagements. He went in for those engagements when his Roaches were still like half HP without having healed them beforehand, and with smaller numbers. Now he's going in for the engagement. This is really the last battle, but look how much bigger Dimaga's army is. There's really no chance, unfortunately, for Moman right now. And there's the GG. Dimaga going to take game number 1.
You know, and in that game, I really like how Dimaga prioritized his usage of the gas. First, he got the Banelings, but that was, I think, a little bit of mind games coming in from Moman. I think that was the correct thing from Moman. It was really good because you're diluting the gas, of course. Then it kind of got into the point where, Moman went a lot of Roaches in that beginning phase, whereas what Dimaga did was said, okay, I'm going to play a little bit defensive, but first I'm going to get the Roach Horn. I'm also going to get the very critical Evolution Chamber, get my +1 missile attacks first. So he gets those Roaches out. All of a sudden he has +1. He has a +1 timing and a +2 timing, where his opponent does not. He was able to take a third off of that. Of course, Moman could not pressure in because of that +1 melee missile attack, and he was able to get that third before his opponent, and obviously just power off of that and extrapolate that for the win.
Yeah, after that, the really big pivotal engagement that happened outside of the 4th of Dimaga, what ended up happening was Dimaga had just finished +2 ranged attacks, and Moman had it on the way, but he still had about 40 seconds left on his at that point. He had way more roaches than Dimaga had, but Dimaga had all those hydras that were about to come out and reinforce. So Moman, he went for the engagement. There were a couple things wrong. First off, I feel like if he already had +2 ranged attacks on the way, with that many roaches, he absolutely should have waited until he had that upgrade done to attack.
Absolutely.
Secondly, he wasn't in the best position. If he had maybe like halfway through that fight, he was like in a choke point. If he had like fallen back and caused Dimaga to be forced to go into that choke point, and he had the better arc, might have been in a better situation. But also, once those hydras showed up, I mean, that's just a clear moment where you have to say, all right, I need to fall back. These are the hydras. I'm not going to be able to fight against this with pure roach. So fall back, get some more tech, do something. Instead, he just kind of kept engaging, kept losing his army instead of at least using Burrow to heal, which should have been. I mean, he got Burrow, man, but he never used it during the fight. He absolutely could have just, burrowed the roaches, unburrow, kill something, re-burrow if you really want to, get crazy with it. Obviously, you don't have to use it that way, but then also he just didn't get any additional tech all game long, just pure mass roach. It's not
it was quite a shame. But we're going to go into game number 2 and see if Moman can come back into this. Again, Dimaga is up 1-0. Stay tuned, everybody. More ZVZ action coming your way.